Hello friends, it's me, Fate. Today we're going to talk about Honkai Star Rail, and specifically we're going to talk about light cones that you can get for free in-game using free-to-play currencies. There's a lot of light cones that are very good for a lot of different characters, and we're specifically only going to talk about light cones if they're either the best, second, or third best for a character, because, you know, we spend a lot of money on these characters and we love them. We don't want them to have weak-ass light cones, do we? So let's jump into the Herta Store and we'll talk about which ones are worth getting in there. Okay, so the Hera Store uses Herta bonds as its primary currency, and you get a lot of these when you first start doing Simulated Universe, and then after that it's a weekly basis that you get like one or two, I think. The typical knowledge is that you only buy these two that I have, and then you focus on this item, which allows you to refine it for free. Now, while that's mostly true, it's not the whole story, and we're going to take a look at all of them and see which characters would actually use them. So let's start with cruising in the Stellar Sea. This Hunt light cone is second best for both Dan Heng and Shu Shang, and it's the third best for Seele and Yan Qing. That's 4 characters. I mean, it's pretty good. However, On the Fall of an Aeon is much better, I would say, typically for most accounts, as it is best in slot for both Physical Trailblazer, which is kind of cope, and Hook. However, it's the second best light cone for Clara, Dan Heng, Daniel, and Jing Liu. And it's the third best light cone for Arlen if you want to use Arlen. Now, where this story gets a little more complex is Texture of Memories, a preservation light cone which is usually written off, but it is in fact the second best light cone you can use on Jeopard and the third best for Fu Xuan. Now, solitary healing is not good at all. You skip this, I would say, every single time. You would rather get normal wishes than get this. But what with needing 3 of them ideally and to refine all of them, and the store getting new light cones over time, you probably still don't want to get the wishes. That's this store covered up. Let's go on to our next store. Alright, welcome to the next store, the Priceless Jewels. Now this is a store that uses a shared currency between Hall of Memory and Pure Fiction, I believe, and a lot of these light cones can be obtained from your weekly Echoes of War as well. Now, unfortunately, I have bad news when it comes to this store. Only 2 of the light cones fit the criteria of being third best for a character or better, and that would be Past and Future, which is third best for Bronya. I'm currently using it on Sparkle because it is kind of like Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer and Genshin Impact. And, I don't want to say this one, Woof Walk Time, which is the third best light cone to use on Hook. The rest of them pretty much aren't worth using. Now, the Seriousness of Breakfast is actually 4th best in slot for pretty much every Erudition character in the game, so it's worth mentioning that. It's actually fine if you need that, but it's still not 3rd best or higher for anyone, so it's kind of cope. Its Showtime also has, like, the best art out of all of them. It's not relevant, but, you know. Finally, we have the big boys. Those big boys being the 5-star light cones you can purchase in the Starlight exchange. Now, it's going to take a long time to accrue 600 Undying Starlight and be able to afford one of these, but they are well worth it. Something Irreplaceable, which is Clara's signature light cone, is obviously best in slot for Clara, but it's also best in slot for Arlen. It's the second best in slot for the Physical Trailblazer and Hook, but seeing as their best in slot comes from Simulated Universe, it's not that big of a boon. And Blade and Jing Liu use this as their third best in slot. Sleep Like the Dead, which is the only one of these I've obtained from the standard wish, is best in slot on nobody, unfortunately. But it is the second best in slot for Seele, Dan Heng, and also Yan Qing. And it's the third best in slot for Topaz. Time Waits for No One, Bailu's signature Abundance light cone, is the second best in slot for Bailu and Natasha, and also Lynx. It's the third best in slot for Luocha. A lot of these names I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing correctly, but you know. Send it. Night on the Milky Way is the Erudition light cone, and it is second best in slot for pretty much everyone. That would be Himiko, Herta, Jingnuan, QQ, and Serval. All of those characters share one thing in common, and it's that their best in slot is the limited light cone Before Dawn. If you do not have Before Dawn and you don't intend to pull for it, then this is really, really good. In the Name of the World, Welt's Nihility light cone. This light cone is the best in slot for Welt, but it's also the second best in slot for Sampo, Silverwolf, and Luca. I think this light cone is going to be really popular soon with Acheron's release. Moment of Victory is the Preservation light cone, and it is best in slot for Jeopard, March 7th, and the Fire Trailblazer. And it's also the second best in slot for Fu Xuan. I consider this to be one of the best, but we've actually saved the best for last, which is But the battle isn't over. Bronya's signature light cone. Who would have thought that Bronya, the best character out of the standard ones, also has the best light cone? This light cone is best in slot for Bronya, Asta, and Ting Yun, who are all really, really good units. And it's also the second best light cone for Hanya. Now you may have noticed that it has the exact same qualifications as Moment of Victory of having 3 characters who use it as the best in slot and 1 who uses it as the second. But due to the nature of the characters that use each light cone, this one has a bit more value for an account, I would say. But regardless, these light cones should be picked on an account by account basis. You should get the ones that work for the units that you have, and they'll all serve you very well. Now the unfortunate thing is that it is going to cost the equivalent of 30 wishes to get one of these, which is a bit of a loss, especially when pulling for units is usually what people find more exciting. But getting someone a really strong light cone can make a big difference in a lot of harder content, and it's something to consider. That's really all there is to say about this topic. I'm still pretty new to the game. I'm only Trailblaze level 55, and I look for this information on YouTube because I'm very stingy with limited currencies in pretty much every game, and I couldn't find a video on it, so that's why I decided to make this video myself, so I can put that information out there. That'll be all for this video, but I'm making a lot of videos about Hoyoverse games as of late, and if you want to check out some of them, I'll put them over there. Subscribe if you liked the video, and I'll be back with more videos about Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail real soon. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.